Styleboy and welcome to my world. Firstly, that intro you just saw, my friend King had done it. Her details will be down below. She honestly aced it so much. I'm just gonna say thank you to her. She honestly slayed it, so yeah. Secondly, this video actually, me and my friend Mikey were actually discussing this and I really was like, this needs to be a video because I think it's very important and I think it will discuss a lot. This is a very different style of content and this is something I never usually talk about. I don't know why I don't, but I think it just needs to be talked about. So a little bit of background information before we start. I am part of the LGBTQ community and I am gay, which is obviously why in the title it probably says something like sexuality isn't a joke or something. I think it definitely just needs to be discussed about. If you do enjoy this type of content, give it a thumbs up and subscribe because that would mean the world. And without further ado, let's begin. Basically, what recently happened was that a TikToker, I don't have TikTok, but my friend does, Mikey, which by the way, subscribe to his channel as well. He's holding like a giveaway, a step. There's so many cool prizes. Like there's a camera on offer. Like go and enter. Basically, a TikToker made a joke. I'm not saying which TikToker. It's not regardless on who it was, but it's regarding more of the other stuff after. So he made a joke coming out as bi on TikTok and a lot of people believed him. And it was an April Fool's prank. Just why? And then he made a apology live. I haven't seen it, but like from what the comments were saying and from what they're like referencing, he said a comment like, oh, like I know people are dying in the world, but don't be afraid to come out. And of course, people had mixed opinions and people got mad. So I was reading the comments, people get mad. And this is like another reason why I want to talk about it. Some people are like down the road like me who got very like confused and like offended. And a lot of people are kind of siding, saying that like it's a joke, y'all are overreacting. Some people are like literally, I just read one comment that said, quote unquote, literally y'all are overreacting about a joke, like chill the fuck out, idiots. And one was saying, oh, this is social media, y'all are too sensitive, and if you can't take social media, then don't be on it. And then when we try and educate them, being like, no, this is why we're finding it offensive, so like, which I'll discuss later, they're like, no, it's still a joke. It's like, so, first point, why this isn't a joke. The reason why coming out isn't actually a joke is because at the end of the day, coming out isn't always pretty. It isn't like what happens in Love Simon and like everyone accepts him. At the end of the day, that's not what happens. Some people get neglected by their families. Some people are forced to live by themselves. Some people are literally killed. There are still countries in this world where it is illegal to be gay and it can be punishable by death. There are literal countries where like it's a crime and you have to like move. To be yourself, you have to literally risk everything. Like that's scary. That's petrifying. And not only that, like even in countries where it can be progressive, there is still stereotypes, there's still lack of representation, confusion, no education, and it can feel isolating, lonely, especially when before coming out, it can feel confusing. It can feel, to be honest, like even when I was like struggling with my sexuality, it feels like you're abnormal. And that's like the horriblest feeling. Like coming out isn't just something simply like, okay, I'm gay now, like whatever. No, it's so much more than that. And although we are in a much more progressive society, there are still, like I said earlier, there are still some countries which don't legal. And also that like, it still comes with so much to it. Like even in like society today, you can still get beaten up, bullied, discriminated physically because of your sexuality or because of your gender identity. I keep on forgetting that. This also applies to gender identity as well. Like it's scary. It can be petrifying. And especially if you're not in a safe environment, like it can be the scariest thing. That's why it's not a joke, because again, for a lot of people, you don't know their circumstance. You don't know the situation. You don't know anything. Like, why make a joke about it? It doesn't make sense. There are so many people who got hurt by this joke. Like, even my friend Mikey made a TikTok about the situation. He was very calm, because the other thing, like a lot of people got mad, and I want to discuss that also later on, but which again, you have every right to be mad. I got mad at first. He said how he was disappointed, and he also came out as bi. And bisexuality, now I haven't experienced it, but I watched this video by The Good Type, which I'll get into like proper forms of education, but they are such a good one on IGTV. They talk about bisexuality and they talk about how there is discrimination within even the LGBT community about being bisexual and about how it is difficult because there are misleading stereotypes about how you sleep around, about how you're always onto someone, and about how you want everyone. Like, the reality is it's just sexuality. That's what I mean. There's like so much miseducation. Like, for example, just because I'm gay doesn't mean I'm gonna hook up with someone like that. That's a stereotype. Like, gay people are much more sexual. That's not always the case, and it doesn't have to be like that. I'm not saying like don't be sexually free. Like, if you are like that kind of person, you do you, like totally do it. But the thing is, not everyone is like that. Don't put everyone in the same umbrella. Like, it's not good at all, and it creates more barriers than it does acceptance. And that's because of the lack of education, which is my second point. So within general history and even general school, like I left primary school, secondary school, sixth form / like middle school, high school, elementary, that bunch 2 years ago. So I'm 20 and I still have a very vivid memory. Thank you, Parade. Throughout my whole entire time at school, I did not get educated once properly, like a proper sit down lesson about LGBTQ stuff. What did happen was I had one lesson, PSHCE, where we talked about sex and it came into the conversation. And it wasn't even like a conversation, like a proper like, oh, this is like a big discussion. This was like a tiny minuscule like, oh yeah, just remember like treat people with like right because you don't know what their sexuality is. And then moved on to how to put on a condom, which then even we didn't do. It doesn't make sense because it's just like, well, we haven't got educated on it. And the thing is like, there is such a lack of education everywhere. I'm not just saying like at school specifically, but there isn't generally. I literally didn't even know what coming out felt like because I didn't know who to relate to. I didn't. Obviously, like now I'm like fully, there are people who if I was gonna come out now, or was like for anyone who is questioning, like I could easily be like, I need to speak to them. I had one friend. That's it. It was probably one of the scariest times because I just generally didn't know. And also at my school, a lot of the kids bullied me for not even understanding my own sexuality, for being different. In year 7, when I didn't even know, I was literally oblivious about like dating and all that stuff. Like I was literally 11 to 12. I got asked constantly, are you gay? Are you gay? Are you gay? Not even being respectful, just playing it out. I got taken the piss out of because of it. I also, in year 7, when I was on a trip, this guy faked asking me out and everyone knew it was a joke and everyone like was laughing. And I just ran off crying, but I didn't know who to tell because I was just like, I didn't tell anyone. I don't know why I didn't tell anyone, but I just didn't. And it was definitely scary, like, my goodness. And I also didn't know who to turn to and I didn't know where to look because of coming out. I didn't know what to do. Like, obviously there was stuff like Glee. Thank Jesus I grew up with that. Like, thank goodness. I genuinely didn't know where to go. So, I mean, luckily my family is very open and I'm so grateful for that. So my mom, for Christmas one year, I actually asked for this also. My mom gave it for me for Christmas, which is, I talk about this book so much, but this book is gay by James Dawson. So actually he was a PSACE teacher and he realized, like most of us have, that PSACE kind of sucks because when I was at school, what it was basically was sex, STIs, sex, drugs, government, sex, drugs. And I'm not saying like learning about like safe sex and learning about drugs is bad. I'm like, no, it's good to learn about this stuff, but that's literally just it. There is so much more to learn about and this book honestly does it. Like, I would say definitely if you are questioning it or if you're part of the community and you have no clue or you just start and you have no one to talk to, this is such a good book. And not only discusses stuff to do with your sexuality, but it also has stuff to discuss with your gender identity as well. But this book does it really well and talks about it in such an amazing way because it's very human. It's kind of funny, actually, I'm not gonna deny, and you can tell like it's written by a human and it's not within like this textbook form. This book, such a lifesaver, especially like growing up. It made it less scary, and especially because it also like your experience, like one type of experience, and again having like only one friend, only one person to only tell you one experience. This just tells you many and it's amazing. I honestly love it. The second form of like education, I would say, it's not just about sexuality or gender identity, but about everything, is the Good Troubles, I think, IGTV series. so good, incredible, gives you facts and statistics, but also like general like humanness. It's done conversationally. I really like that because it did teach me a lot, and I love learning about stuff like that. Like I prefer someone talking to me about that versus like reading it. That's just my opinion. There's also so many LGBTQ+ YouTubers on YouTube who are sharing information about their sexuality, about growing up and different things you will come through, and some more fun, some more serious, and there are so many incredible sources. Like for example, one of the best ones that I follow is Jessie Page. She's such a good source, not only for like mental health, but also sexuality, as she is also part of the community, and I just always have adored her, and for me, she's amazing, so definitely also check her out. But the thing is like, there is a lack of education, and it shows, it really does show. It even shows within like other subjects like history. You learn in history about other things. I'm not saying just in history like you'll learn about the war, yeah you do, but you also like, for us, we learn about the civil rights movement, which was my favorite part of history, by the way. Like I actually adored it. I love learning about more like societal changes for like the war, for example, and like even then we also learned about slavery when we were younger, so we had more of that knowledge, wider knowledge. And even in RE we learn about other religions, like not just like being Catholic. We learn about like Islam and Hinduism and Judaism and Buddhism, and even when it came like further, we learned about other opinions within those topics. And yeah, one of them was about same-sex marriage, and then we had like this whole discussion about like, do you believe you're born being gay or do you believe you grow up? That was very interesting. But like even within that, you learn other stuff. Sexuality, apart from that case and PSACE, you just don't, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because the kind of area I'm in, but also like there's a lot of kids in the LGBTQ community. And also the other thing is, as much as you may educate, the other person has to be willing to listen. That's why a lot of the comments were like, yes, so? What do you mean, so? It's about being open, because at the end of the day, there are 3 things that people don't like to be proven. They don't like to be proven wrong. They like things to go their own way. Believe me, I'm one of those people. A lot of people like to make sure they are the right ones on top. I'm not saying everyone does, and obviously being proven wrong or being shown like, actually no, you can't do that, or like, no, this is what it actually is. That's why we're having that. That's why people are like, no, like if people get mad, the first thing to do is just be like, pow. It's like, well, no, you can listen and you can learn. It's just that at the end of the day, like it's about also being willing to learn. That's what I'm saying, like there is so much representation out there, but it depends if people are willing to listen. Now, obviously there's been times where like, yes, people have listened and watched and whatever. So like Call Me By Your Name is an example. That's literally like one of the biggest LGBTQ films out there. Moonlight, Love, Simon. There are other sources where education is like at its prime and people are willing to learn. However, I also do think to a degree, a lot of people won't do it because A, they believe they can't be part of the conversation, although you can be, and B, they're dedicated towards that. Or they believe like, oh, that's not for me. At the end of the day, that's not true. You still can be part of the conversation even if you are straight. Like, for example, I'm a man, but I'm a feminist. Hands down, I am an intersectional feminist because like, I believe in feminism. I don't get why men and women are treated differently. I don't get it, like they should be treated the same and have the same equal rights. You can, for example, be straight and still support LGBTQ+ films or businesses or people, because guess what? That's being an ally. Being an ally is actually one of the strongest parts of being in the community and one of the best things. We do have so many allies out there who are equally fighting as much as we are fighting, who are doing amazing things as much as we are doing amazing things to support us. I say us, I mean the LGBTQ+ community. There are so many amazing people out there who are doing equally as well. It has to be people willing to be open and people willing to be emotionally connected, and it's people willing to listen. Listening to other people gets you so much further. Even if it's about topics you don't think you're relevant in, listen anyway, because you then learn so much and it opens your eyes so much more wider than to the world you grew up in. It widens your horizons and it makes you see other things, so it makes you understand other people more and you become more compassionate, more understanding and more open. I mean this with all communities, like all minorities, so like disability, religion, sexuality, race, mental health, I mean this with all, like being open and willing to hear other people out is the best thing to do, because that's how we're gonna get further in society. For example, if someone's talking about the discrimination they have faced and how they think they should be improved, listen to them. Don't be fighting them back, being like, nah. No, listen, because at the end of the day, you don't know what you could learn. You could learn how to become a better person. I also have one more bit to talk about, and this bit, I think, is probably one of the most important bits. So it's about being compassionate, understanding, and not to get mad-ish. Reason why I say ish is because what you feel when someone does something, you are allowed to feel. Oh my god, like even when I heard about it, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like the same thing as like a YouTuber making a thing that celebrate pride, they're gonna be gay for a month. Or when people are actually fighting to have a straight pride. You are allowed to feel mad, angry, hurt, confused, frustrated. You are allowed to feel pain, because guess what? Like it's normal. Like you are allowed to feel something, because guess what? Your feelings are feelings. Don't ever apologize for your feelings, which is something I need to remember. And you should be cool with your feelings, because your feelings are there for a reason. Like you're allowed to feel hurt by what someone says. You're allowed to feel mad if someone's deciding to be rude. You're allowed to feel irritated. You're allowed to feel aggravated. You're allowed to feel distressed or down in the dumps or a bit sad or a bit lonely. You're allowed to feel every single emotion. You are. Like even the comments, if you are reading through the comments of like someone's post, like and they posted something controversial, and if they're like completely agreeing and you disagree, you can feel alone because it's your opinion and you feel that. Like I felt that before, so you are definitely not the only one to feel like this. But I do think screaming and being rude about it is not the way to go. Like there's a difference between using your negative emotions in a positive way and using negative emotions to be negative more. You do not have to be it. And this is the whole idea of cancel culture, which is why I majorly disagree with it. Like what Anthony says, which I think is the most important quote, is hurt people will hurt people. I totally agree to that, and I've seen it in action where when someone gets hurt or distressed, they will attack. Because guess what? It's the response. You want to put someone else down, or you want to make someone else feel bad to put yourself higher, because it's supposed to boost your esteem. To be honest, this is one I don't get why people say that, because to be honest, if I hurt someone, I feel worse with some of the comments being so like aggressive and so like fighting, and like you don't have to be like that. If you decide not to support an influencer anymore, you don't have to. Like yeah, like that's normal. Like you don't have to support influencers all the time. Like there have been influencers who I used to support that I don't anymore, and because of so many different reasons, like because they make you feel shit, because they've done something bad, you don't have to support an influencer. That's cool. And even in the comments, you can be so like educational, and you can be like, you know what, like no, if you want to say something, like I'm not saying don't say something, like you do you, boo. Just be calm. You can be frustrated, like oh my god, when you come and type something like with you being calm, with you not being aggressive, with you being like just stating facts, you are gonna sound so much more logical. Even if someone responds like, oh, you're an idiot, you're so sensitive, you're too sensitive, like no, like that person seems like an idiot, you seem way better. And plus, you don't have to respond to that. You can ignore it. Someone will 100% agree with you. Guaranteed, if you come out with something calm and you just type something like super collected, you sound so much more put together and so much more like you actually thought about your argument, so you're actually coming from logic versus just being like, no, you don't have to be. And also about the comment about, oh my god, people are so sensitive, like too sensitive. See, I disagree to that, because I don't think people are too sensitive, because what is one of the best humors, like dark humor and sarcasm, people enjoy that. I personally don't, that's not my thing, but it's about being respectful. At the end of the day, it's about having respect and showing respect. That's it, like understanding what people are going through, like getting what people are going through, and not being harmful and not being rude and not being aggressive and not being destructive, and actually being positive and being collected and being good people. Because at the end of the day, like, would you rather have made someone else's day be bad or someone else's day be good? Like, answer that. Like, that's what I mean. Like, if you're gonna type out like something like aggressive, is it gonna hurt them? Just don't be rude. That's at the end of the day. You don't know what people are going through. Be compassionate, be kind, and spread some positivity. This should hopefully be a positive result video, because I don't want this to be like, this is hating everyone, like like this video is not made for hate, and this video is not made to be like, I'm gonna attack everyone who doesn't support my videos. I'm like, no, This is just made to be educational and made to be telling you my opinion and telling you how I feel about this, because I think it's a very important topic and we should share it right here. Wow, I felt so proud for doing that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below any topics you'd like me to talk about. Definitely sexuality is gonna come up a way more than I think. Please like, subscribe, share, you know what to do, and I shall see you guys very, very soon. Cheers, adios, goodbye people, goodbye.